Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and today we're going to be talking about the movie The Platform. So before I get into the movie, I just want to quickly give you guys a little bit of an introduction to myself and to my channel because I've never made a video before, so I felt like
that's something I should do.
Also, if you hear a sound in the background, that's my fan. It's on because it's like 2:30 in the morning right now. Like in my head, I feel like if I have the fan on, it's drowning out the sound of me talking, so my entire family doesn't hear me right now.
That might not be true at all, actually.
I'm keeping it on. I'm sorry about it.
It has to happen like this.
So hopefully you can still hear me and understand what I'm saying. I'm sorry if it's annoying, but
it's fine. We're fine.
So mainly on my channel, I think I'm going to be making videos about film and TV shows and stuff like that, just because I absolutely love film. My absolute dream in life is to be a director, so I felt like
why not just do it there?
I think I'm also going to make some videos on just true crime, paranormal sort of stuff like that, and like conspiracy theories, just because that's really interesting to me. If you guys like that too, you should subscribe. And I might make some videos just about like myself and my life too.
Not that anyone cares.
But
Yeah.
I'm pretty fun. I think I live a fun life sometimes, so
I don't know.
now let's get into the movie. So before I start, I actually just want to say, sorry, another thing, but I just want to give like a bit of a trigger warning, I guess, because this film is extremely dark and it does get into some really very disturbing things, including murder and cannibalism. So if that's not something you're cool with, that's chill.
I understand.
I don't typically like super gory movies. I'm not like squeamish or anything. It's just like I don't really like when people just use shock value for the sake of using shock value. I do think in this particular film it is done for a greater reason. There's a reason behind all the violence in the film and it works towards a greater message. It does extremely graphic, extremely dark, and so if that's something that makes you uncomfortable or you're not okay with, totally understandable. This is not the video for you. All right, now let's actually get into it. So first I just want to give a bit of a summary, I guess, of the movie, or a recap. If you've already seen it and maybe you forget some of the things that happened, or if you haven't seen it and you're watching this for some reason because you just are bored, I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of give a basic description of the movie just for those people who maybe don't remember. You guys can totally skip this part if you literally just watched it, or if you already know what happens. You can skip to the time on the screen when we're gonna be talking about the ending. For now, I just want to give a little bit of a recap. So the basic plot of the film is that it takes place in this just big, vertical, tall prison. So every single floor in the prison is a cell containing 2 roommates, and all of them have this giant square like hole in the floor. And every single day a platform goes down from the very top floor to the very bottom floor, and that platform contains the food for the day. So it's just this giant platter of fancy food. There's cakes, there's like escargot, there's chicken wings, there's like literally any food you can imagine is just laid out on this giant platform. So essentially the basic idea of this platform in this prison is that, okay, you take your meal for the day, you take what you need, and everyone can take what they need and have enough to eat.
But of course, that is not how things go in this film.
Essentially what happens is the people at the top are eating
the kings.
They're just eating whatever they want. They're taking tons of food, just shoving it in their mouths. They do not have a care in the world. And the people at the bottom are basically just
stuck with no food.
So
it's pretty rough.
I know you're thinking, okay, so the people at the top are just blessed. The people at the bottom
sucks that they're probably dead now.
But that's not necessarily how it goes, because every single month that you're in the prison, you wake up on a new floor. So 1 month you could literally be on the first floor, and the next month you could just be on the very bottom. You have no idea. It's completely random. Our main character, Goreng, he enters the pit because he wants to quit smoking. So he voluntarily enters. This is a prison, but I guess you can voluntarily enter it too. So he enters because he wants to quit smoking and he wants to read Don Quixote, which that book actually has a lot of symbolism within the film. That's not what this video is about, but that is interesting. There are other videos on YouTube about it if you guys are interested in checking those out. And he's told you to get like a diploma or something if he stays there for 6 months. So he's like,
Let me do that.
Goes in, starts out on the 48th floor with his roomie,
What's his roommate's name?
Trimagashi. Trimagashi is his roommate, and they are on the 48th floor. So slowly Goring's kind of figuring out how the system works, realizing that you're not supposed to talk to the people on the top, you're not supposed to talk to people on the bottom. You can't talk to the people on the bottom because they're below you, as Trimagashi puts it, and you can't talk to the people above because they're above you.
They don't want to talk to you.
Obviously.
I don't know about you guys, but
Seems like there's a deeper meaning there. I don't know.
that happens, and they kind of become friends. By the end of the month, even though Trimagashi's kind of weird and like standoffish and like
Serious.
a lot of different things to describe that man, they end up reading together and kind of becoming friends. I mean, you're living in a small cell for a month, and you're basically just eating other people's leftovers.
Like, there's a lot of wallpapers.
Next month, they wake up.
Level 171.
Goreng, our main guy, is just wakes up just tied to the bed, and Trimagachi's like, "Hey, bro, I'm sorry, but like there's no food down here. Like there's 0% chance we are getting any food.
I have to eat you.
But don't worry,
I like you. You're chill.
so I'm just gonna cut out small pieces and you can have some too."
You share.
And Goreng's like,
What?
"I thought you were a good person," and Trimagachi's like, "Listen,
It's not my fault.
I have to do this because of the actions of the people above me." Again,
Is there a deeper meaning there? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but
anyway, forgot to mention this when I was talking about the first floor, but we find out while they're on the first floor that there's this woman named Miharu who goes down, rides the platform down to the bottom of the prison every single month, and she's looking for her son, or no,
her child.
who's like somewhere in the prison. So she's looking for him, and so she always rides the platform down and just like kills people. I don't know.
She's baddie.
So right when Trimagashi is like,
I'm gonna eat you now. Sorry.
I know I'm talking about it in a joking tone, I just want to say cannibalism, killing people, not a joke. I also smile and laugh when I'm nervous, so just keep in mind I'm not a terrible person. I don't support being a cannibal,
Obviously.
but I felt the need to clarify on that. Anyways, so Trimagashi's like, he's like, that didn't make it any better. He's taking some.
Like,
Miharu sees this, and her and Goreng had bonded for a sec on the first time they met last month. So she's like, I like this guy, I don't want him to die. So she kills Trimagashi, basically.
he does.
Goreng, she leaves, by the way, she's gone. Goreng basically,
Has to eat him.
so. Next month wakes up on the 33rd floor, so big difference.
Big difference there.
And he has a new roomie, Imagori. Imagori was actually the woman who worked at the facility that admitted him in the first place, and she decided to admit herself because she wanted to change the system. She felt like it wasn't working properly the way it was supposed to. People weren't
Sharing,
and
coming together, whatever.
so she's like, I'm gonna fix the system. She goes in and she starts like setting up these portions for the people below her because now they have food. They're on the 33rd floor. She starts setting up these portions for the people below her and yelling at them and being like, hey guys, like I set up that portion for you, please only eat that so that everybody can eat. And they're like basically just like,
No. Sorry.
eventually they do get the people below them to eat only their recommended portions, but that's only when Goreng threatens to shit on all of the food on the platter. So he's like, you can eat your portion or you can eat my shit. Like,
It's up to you.
and obviously they're kind of just forced to listen. I did tell you guys this movie was a lot, so
I wasn't lying.
that happens.
Whatever. They bond.
Imagori tells Goreng, oh, by the way, I know how many floors are in this thing. There's 200. Next month,
Boom. Wake up. Floor 202.
Goreng wakes up.
Imagori's dead.
Obviously, he's forced to eat Imagori, Shihan herself, because first of all, that's just rough. Waking up on the 202nd floor, you know you're not going to get any food. Also, all of her beliefs, everything that she held about this system that she's worked at for her entire life,
What's wrong? They told her 200 floors. She makes one floor 202. Like,
that's a lot of despair. And
emotion.
also, I didn't mention this, but Miharu came down on, well, they were on the 33rd floor, and like, totally separate thing, not relevant to go into, but that would probably also rough on her psyche.
She was not doing well.
Goreng ate her. He's not
He's not threatening.
Next month, Goreng wakes up. He is on floor
6.
which must be heaven after the
202nd floor.
like that would be crazy. So he wakes up and he has a new roommate, Baharat, I think his name was. This roommate has a rope and he's like, oh my god, whatever, I can't believe like we're this close to the top, I'm never gonna get this chance again. And he tries to use his rope to like climb up. He's like talking to people above him. He's like, guys, like help me up, like oh my god, you guys are gonna help me and I'll help you, and like having this whole conversation.
It's very helpful.
And they're like, yeah bro, like come on up, we'll help you. He starts pulling the rope, he starts climbing up, and they literally shit on him. Like
They literally shot his face.
luckily Goreng like saves him from falling down all of like the holes and stuff. So eventually Goreng and Baharat, they have this deep conversation and they're like, we are gonna change the system. Let's ride the platform, let's go all the way down, and let's try to beat this thing, because maybe if everyone does what they're supposed to, if everyone only takes the small portion that they're supposed to and all of the food makes it down to the very bottom, like we will beat this thing. I don't know what their
Thought process is really, but this is what they consider happening.
they ride the platform down and they start basically threatening people, being like,
Don't eat more. We tell you to. We're splitting this evenly amongst everybody.
they get to this floor with like, this wise man, and he's like, not only do we need to do this, you guys need to send like a message
Like a symbol.
up to the floor, because obviously at the end of every day the platform rises back up to the top floor to like the chefs and all the people that are on the top floor, so that they can know, like I don't know, that you're making a statement that things need to change around here. And they're like,
Yeah.
so they get this like dessert, this cake thing, and they're like, this will be our message, we'll send that back up to the top, whatever. They go through, they fight all the people, they get to the bottom,
What do they see? A little girl.
and they're like,
Oh my god. This is Miharu's daughter.
Miharu dies, by the way. Like within the process they see Miharu die as they're running on the floors. It's very traumatic, there's a lot that goes on, but like
We're not talking about that right now.
they go through all the floors, they fight everyone, they get to the bottom, little girl, Miharu's daughter, oh my god, and they give her the dessert that's supposed to be the symbol.
It's called a panna cotta. That's what it is.
They give it to the girl because they're like, she's this little kid, she's like dying, she's here. And then they're like,
Oh my god, wait.
scratch all that. The little girl is the message. She's the symbol. We're gonna send her up to the top, because then the people at the top are gonna see like, oh my god, we're monsters. Like we have children in here. Like what?
So it's crazy stuff.
So they're like, let's send her back up to the top. And they do that.
And the movie ends.
You don't see anything else. The movie just ends with the little girl riding up. You don't even know if she makes it to the top, but that's it. Okay, now let's get to the part that we were all waiting for. Let's talk about the ending. So there's a lot of theories about the ending of this movie because it's very unclear. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is the right answer, that this is exactly what happens in the ending. This is just from everything I've read, everything I've seen, everything I've heard, my best interpretation of what happens at the end of this movie. So for me, the biggest question that I had and what I didn't understand was like the little girl.
The daughter.
It logically did not make sense. I don't like a movie, and at first I thought this was just a flaw by the writers or by the directors. I was like, I don't understand. Like they really didn't think logically about how this little girl would be surviving in this type of environment. As I just described to you guys, it's extremely
Dangerous, disturbing, disgusting.
She has no roommate. She's on the very bottom floor. She gets literally no food, and everyone around her is just dying. How is she alive? There's no explanation as to how she got there, why she's there, how she's alive, what's going on. She's completely clean too. I didn't mention this. She's completely clean. There's no blood on her. She doesn't even look sick or upset. She's not crying. She's literally just like I didn't get it, and I thought that the writers were just lazy and didn't really think about that part. I didn't know. And then I thought, what if there isn't a little girl? She wasn't real. I know this sounds dumb, but just hear me out. The two main characters, or not main characters, but our main character, Goreng, and the other guy, they went through a lot. There was deaths, battles, all of this stuff going on. They were extremely tired and wounded and injured by the time they got to the bottom floor. In fact, Baharat actually dies from his injuries, and Goreng is just hallucinating, tripping out, not having a good time. Neither of them are having a good time. They are both on the verge of death. So it makes sense that maybe some of the things that they were seeing and experiencing were not actually real. So the little girl's not real.
Okay.
What's the message then? What's going on at the end of this movie? I don't.
What was the point of that? Like, so just nothing happens? Like,
Nah.
nah.
Just listen. So if you've seen the movie, you would remember that in the very middle of the movie, right when like Goreng is not doing well and he's on like the 174th floor and he's eating his roommate, it flashes to like a very random scene where you see all the chefs working on the top floor. It's like this gourmet kitchen and all the chefs are working, and the like head chef or like some kind of person in charge, whatever, comes out with a panna cotta, the same dessert that you're seeing in the ending. And he comes up and
He's mad, he's pissed.
you can tell in his face, there's no talking in the scene, but he just looks pissed. And he pulls a hair out of the panna cotta and he starts like comparing it to all the chefs. And originally seeing that scene, I was kind of like,
I was like, random.
because it's literally just that, and then it flashes back to like the rest of the story. I thought it was sort of like a satire and like juxtaposition to like Goreng, like,
Eating his dead roommate.
and then like juxtaposing that with like the way that the top views things and being like,
Oh my god, there's a hair on this floor.
like that's kind of what I thought it was.
But
I saw a comment, I wish I could find it, I don't even know what video it was on, but I saw a comment on a YouTube video. Comment below if you were this person that commented this, because this totally changed my perspective, and I think it might change yours too. What if that scene in the middle of the movie, the panna cotta, was actually not taking place at the same time as what was happening the rest of the movie? Like, that was not at the same timeline. That scene that you saw in the middle was actually from the end. The panna cotta did get sent up. The little girl, all that stuff didn't happen. They were already dead or almost dead and hallucinating at that point. But the panna cotta, by some miracle, did get sent up to the top. It was the message. It did work. But the people at the top got the message, got the symbol, got the panna cotta, and thought that the people in the prison had sent it back because there was a hair in it. That
it's crazy. Wait.
So that personally to me explains the entire ending. The other two die, the panna cotta gets sent up, but the people at the top have no understanding of the true depth of the struggles that the people within the pit, especially on the bottom floors, are facing, and so they cannot fathom, they cannot understand this cry for help, this message that's being sent out. Instead they interpret it as,
Oh my god, you guys are idiots. Of course they sent it back. This is disgusting. There's a hair in it.
now, I don't know, let me know what you guys think about this theory, if you guys believe me or agree with it or not. I think it's pretty solid, and I think it makes so much more sense than just like the little girl being there. I don't know. And I think it really speaks volumes to the message that the whole film is trying to portray. The film is obviously a critique of,
Society.
it's pretty obvious what the film is trying to say. If you guys don't really get it, I can do a video explaining that if you guys want. But I think it's pretty clear the message that the movie's trying to say, just about the upper class and the lower class, and how we treat each other, and how even when the people who are from the bottom get a chance to be at the top, instead of understanding and sympathizing with the people that are on the bottom, like, they spit on them, they pee on them, because now they have the chance to. They have the chance to spite the other people like they did to them, and that's just how we are as humans. But this ending, I think, makes a lot more sense to get across the point that the film is trying to make in that way, because it's basically just showing that the people at the top, the high class people, they will never truly understand the message that the bottom is trying to give, or the struggles at the bottom, because they don't want to, and they can't even fathom the real problems that are going on. Rather, they only understand what they know and their own issues. They're so closed-minded in that sense, and I just think it's extremely intelligent. I think it's a really creative idea and a really interesting way to portray that message through film, because never is there like a time where they explain it. They're not explaining their message explicitly through any words, and that is the main rule, I think, or one of the main rules in a good film, is to show, not to tell. And that's exactly what this film does. It's up to your own interpretation of what it means. I think it's pretty clear for the most part what they're trying to say, but there's so much layers to it and hidden things. The ending that I'm explaining to you right now may not have been what the director intended. It may have been what the director intended. This is just my personal interpretation of it and the way that I understood it and what makes sense to me. But I'd love to hear your guys' theories and your guys' thoughts on it as well, because obviously I'm totally open to looking at it from a different perspective. I think that's what makes a good film, is that it can be interpreted in different ways. That's what art is all about, and film is art. So anyway guys, that is all I have to say for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I want to hear your thoughts for real on this movie, because it is a crazy movie, and half of the reason I'm posting this honestly is because I don't know enough people who have watched it, and I can't even really recommend it to people because it's like really disturbing, and I don't want to make my friends think I'm a psychopath. So comment down below if you've seen it, comment your opinion on the ending, comment if you agree with me or not, and if you want to see more videos from me,
hit that subscribe button.
Okay, that's all for today guys. I hope you have an awesome night, day, afternoon, whatever it is, and I will see you guys in the next video.